Imagine a bustling corporate headquarters where the hum of ambition fills the air, and every employee is racing to climb the ladder. At the top sits Ethan Caldwell, a CEO known for his razor-sharp instincts and unrelenting drive. But in the quiet corners of the building, where fluorescent lights flicker and the world seems to slow, a janitor named Javier mops the floors, unnoticed. What Ethan doesn't know yet is that Javier, the man emptying trash cans, speaks 9 languages fluently. And when their worlds collide, the discovery will spark a chain of events that no one could predict. Ethan Caldwell ran Nextech, a tech giant revolutionizing AI solutions. At 42, he was a titan of industry, celebrated for his ability to spot talent and turn ideas into billion-dollar ventures. His days were a blur of board meetings, investor calls, and high-stakes decisions. But one evening, as he worked late in his corner office, a faint melody drifted through the walls, a soulful Spanish ballad, sung softly, but with perfect pitch. Curious, Ethan stepped into the hallway and found Javier, earbuds in, mopping the marble floors. "Nice voice," Ethan remarked, half smiling. Javier, startled, pulled out his earbuds and apologized in flawless English. "Didn't mean to disturb you, sir." Ethan waved it off, intrigued by the janitor's polished diction. "Where'd you learn to speak like that?" he asked casually. Javier hesitated, then admitted, "I've always had a knack for languages." What followed was a conversation that left Ethan stunned. Javier didn't just speak English and Spanish, he spoke Mandarin, French, Arabic, German, Portuguese, Russian, and Swahili, all self-taught through library books and online courses. Ethan's mind raced. How could someone with such talent be cleaning offices? Javier shared his story. A refugee from a war-torn country, he'd arrived in the U.S. with nothing but a dream to rebuild his life. Unable to afford college, he took the janitor job to survive, teaching himself languages in his spare time to stay connected to the world he'd left behind. Each language was a bridge to a culture, a history, a hope. Ethan listened, captivated, as Javier switched effortlessly between languages, quoting poetry in French and proverbs in Arabic. The next morning, Ethan couldn't shake the encounter. He'd built Nextech on innovation, but had he overlooked talent right under his nose? He called his HR director, Maria, and asked her to pull Javier's file. It was thin, just a work visa, a basic resume, and a glowing reference from a previous employer. No mention of his linguistic prowess. Ethan felt a pang of guilt. How many others like Javier were invisible in his company? He decided to act, but not in the way anyone expected. Instead of offering Javier a promotion on the spot, Ethan invited him to a meeting with the executive team. "I want you to share your story," he said. Javier was nervous but agreed. In the boardroom surrounded by suits and skeptical faces, Javier spoke. He didn't just talk about languages, he explained how each one taught him to think differently, to solve problems from new angles. He described negotiating with vendors in Mandarin, calming a tense situation in Arabic, and even debugging code by applying logic he'd learned from Russian grammar. The room was silent, then erupted in questions. The executives were floored, not just by his skills, but by his perspective. Ethan saw an opportunity. Nextech was expanding globally, struggling with cross-cultural communication and international partnerships. Javier's abilities could bridge those gaps. But Ethan didn't want to tokenize him or exploit his story. He wanted to empower him. So, he proposed a bold idea, a new role, not just for Javier, but for others like him, overlooked employees with untapped potential. He called it the Hidden Talent Initiative, a program to identify and nurture skills within the company's ranks, from janitors to junior staff. By the end of the week, Javier was no longer mopping floors. He was shadowing the global strategy team, using his languages to translate documents and advise on cultural nuances. But Ethan's vision was bigger than one man. He was rewriting the rules of talent scouting, and Javier's story was just the beginning. The news of Javier's discovery spread like wildfire through Nextech. Employees whispered in break rooms, and posts about the 9-language janitor trended on internal forums. Ethan Caldwell's decision to launch the Hidden Talent Initiative sent shockwaves not just through the company but across the industry. Competitors mocked it as a PR stunt, but Ethan was undeterred. He knew the real risk was ignoring the potential staring him in the face. Javier, now a cultural liaison on the global strategy team, was thriving. His first task was to assist with a critical deal in Shanghai. The Chinese partners were skeptical of Nextech's AI platform, citing cultural disconnects. Javier, fluent in Mandarin and attuned to subtle social cues, bridged the gap. He translated not just words but intentions, turning a tense negotiation into a signed contract. The deal was worth $200 million, and Javier's name was on everyone's lips. But he remained humble, often staying late to mentor colleagues eager to learn basic phrases in new languages. Ethan, meanwhile, was restructuring Nextech's talent pipeline. The Hidden Talent Initiative wasn't just about finding more Javiers, it was about dismantling the elitism that blinded companies to raw potential. He partnered with HR to create workshops where employees could showcase unconventional skills, from coding to storytelling. A receptionist revealed she'd built an app in her spare time. A mailroom clerk demonstrated fluency in data analysis. Ethan gave them resources, mentors, training, and opportunities to shine. The initiative uncovered 47 employees with hidden skills in its first month, and productivity metrics began to climb. But not everyone was on board. Some executives grumbled that Ethan was diverting focus from real talent, those with MBAs and Ivy League degrees. At a tense board meeting, one director challenged him. "Are we running a charity or a business?" Ethan's response was sharp. "We're running a future. Talent doesn't always come with a pedigree." He presented data. Companies that invested in diverse, non-traditional talent saw 19% higher innovation rates. Javier's deal in Shanghai was proof. The room fell silent. Outside Nextech, the initiative sparked a broader conversation. A viral X post about Javier's story garnered millions of views, with users sharing their own tales of overlooked skills. Ethan leaned into the momentum, hosting a TED-style talk where Javier spoke about the power of self-education. "Languages taught me resilience," Javier said, his voice steady. "Every word I learned was a step toward belonging." The audience gave a standing ovation, and the video racked up 10 million views in a week. The ripple effects were profound. Other companies began launching similar programs, and universities partnered with Nextech to offer free online courses to employees. Javier, now a reluctant celebrity, became an advocate for accessible education, speaking at conferences about the barriers refugees and low-income workers face. He never forgot his roots, often visiting the janitorial staff to share coffee and stories. Ethan's gamble paid off. Nextech's stock rose 12% as global partnerships flourished, thanks to the cultural fluency of employees like Javier. The Hidden Talent Initiative became a case study in business schools, redefining how companies view talent. Ethan himself changed, too. He started walking the halls, talking to employees at all levels, listening for the next hidden genius. He even enrolled in a Spanish course, inspired by Javier's passion. For Javier, the journey was surreal. He still kept his old janitor's uniform, a reminder of where he started. One evening, as he left the office, a young intern approached him. "I speak 3 languages," she said shyly. "Can you help me get noticed?" Javier smiled, remembering his own invisibility. "You're already seen," he said. "Now let's make sure they hear you." The story of the janitor who spoke 9 languages didn't just shock Nextech, it reshaped an industry. It proved that talent isn't confined to titles or degrees. It's in the quiet corners, waiting for someone to listen. And Ethan Caldwell, once a CEO obsessed with the bottom line, became a leader who bet on people. His next move? To keep searching, keep listening, and keep proving that the greatest innovations come from the most unexpected places.